plans for my latest invention, a flying machine.
What? That's a flying machine? Well, how's it going to work? It hasn't got any wings.
No, you don't understand. This is a tin can. The flying machine is a drink inside, and it's called Red Bull.
A flying bull you can drink? Trust me, Leonardo, this idea will never get off the ground.
But Red Bull is stimulation for body and mind. Look, Red Bull gives you weight.
Red Bull didn't just give people energy, or wings as they like to say. It gave people an entire lifestyle. What started as a strange energy drink from Thailand turned into a global powerhouse that sells over 12 billion cans a year and owns sports teams, music labels, and even did a space jump. Before we get started, let me ask you this. Is Red Bull your go-to energy drink, or do you prefer something else, like Rockstar, or maybe just coffee? Drop your favorite in the comments. I'm curious which one wins out. So the story begins in the mid-1980s when Austrian marketer Dietrich Mateschitz, I hope I pronounced that right, was on a business trip to Thailand. Jet-lagged and exhausted, he tried a local drink called Krating Dang, invented by Thai businessman Chaleo Yuvidya. And it was a syrupy, sweet drink, and it had this energy effect. And he realized that this little energy drink had huge potential in the West. So in 1984, he decided to rebrand and launch it in Europe. The result? Red Bull officially hit shelves in Austria in 1987. At first, people were skeptical. The can was tiny, the flavor was odd, and the idea of energy drinks barely existed. But Red Bull was trying to not just sell soda, they were selling an identity. And they were selling risks and pushing the limits. And instead of traditional ads, Red Bull gave out free samples on college campuses, sponsored edgy events, and they slapped their logo on everything from cliff diving contests to Formula One race cars. This was a textbook class in guerrilla marketing. By the early 2000s, Red Bull wasn't just a drink, it was a media empire. And of course, who could forget the biggest stunt of all in 2012 when Red Bull sent Felix Baumgartner to the edge of space where he jumped 128,000 feet. That wasn't just marketing, it was history. Now, before we get to the analysis, here's a fun fact. In some countries, Red Bull was banned in its early years because regulators thought the caffeine and the taurine combo was unsafe. Instead of killing the hype, the bans only made people more curious to try it. Kind of like how Nike sold more Air Jordans when the NBA banned the shoes for being the wrong color. Alright, so on the inside scoop, we break things down with what I call the GSE or the GSE analysis. That's goal, strategy, and execution. It's our framework for figuring out exactly why companies like Red Bull succeed. So we start with the goal. The big question, is the goal even possible? Is it a bold dream or a blind dream? Red Bull's goal, create an entirely new beverage category. So a quick thing to ask is whether anyone has done something like this before, at least recently. And surprisingly, no, not really. Coffee and soda gave people energy, but there wasn't a dedicated energy drink market in the West. They were pioneers. Then you should ask yourself, were there any clues that this could be possible? And the answer to that was yes, because in Thailand, Krating Dang already had a proof of concept, but bringing it global was the pioneering. And the question would be, would people buy it? So Red Bull's goal was a bold dream. It was original, it was risky, but it was having a bit of a proof of concept. So the next thing to look at is strategy. And we apply the tried, tested, and true SWOT analysis to break it down. The question is whether the strengths and opportunities outweigh the weaknesses and threats. Let's break it down. Red Bull's strategy, which was again a masterclass of guerrilla marketing and branding, from the start, they weren't trying to compete with Coke or Pepsi directly. Instead, they set out to create an entirely new category and build a brand that felt more like a lifestyle than an energy drink. And the way they pulled this off was through some of the boldest guerrilla marketing ever seen. Here's some of the things they did. Driving around in cars with giant Red Bull cans on top, handing out free samples to college students, athletes, and night owls. Fueling nightlife by supplying DJs with free Red Bulls, positioning it as the ultimate party drink, and creating their own extreme sports events like cliff diving and flutog, later extending into Formula One. Even tossing Red Bull cans into the trash bins outside clubs and campuses, creating the illusion that everyone was drinking it. Now, let's put that into a SWOT lens. What were their strengths? They had iconic branding, a slim blue and silver can, instantly recognizable. If you're looking for it, you'll find it. Guerrilla marketing, and that marketing felt authentic rather than forced. And a clear and consistent slogan, Red Bull gives you wings, unforgettable. As for their weaknesses, there was a high price compared to coffee and soda. There was a taste that split opinions. People either loved it or hated it. And then what about the opportunities? They saw that they could position themselves in student and nightlife culture, where energy and alertness was in demand. They also got into extreme sports sponsorships at a time when extreme sports were just starting to gain traction. And they had a chance for global expansion into new markets. And yes, there were threats, which included health concerns and regulatory bans on energy drinks. They also saw rising competitors like Rockstar and even Coca-Cola energy drinks started to proliferate. And lastly, changing consumer habits. People can be prone to lose interest. So overall, Red Bull's strategy was resilient because it didn't compete directly with Coke or Pepsi. Instead, it created a new category and tied itself to culture, not just taste. So it occupied a niche all of its own. And lastly, we explore their execution. And this is where Red Bull really soared. We have to take a look at PhD, whether there is passion, good habits, and discipline to achieve the goal. So starting with passion, absolutely. The founder believed this wasn't just a product, it was a way of life. That passion fueled bold and creative campaigns. And what about their habits? They had a habit of sticking to guerrilla marketing and sought to constantly improve and consistently do what worked. And they kept innovating marketing stunts, from student giveaways to sponsoring DJs to funding documentaries. Red Bull stayed present in youth culture. And then there's discipline. As I said before, they understood the market and were willing to understand it and adapt to it. Every touch point, from can design, slogans, and events, reinforced the same brand message. They never watered down their identity. So this relentless execution of their strategy led to their success. By consistently reinforcing their brand and lifestyle, Red Bull stayed authentic and made competitors look like copycats. So what did we learn? What are the key takeaways? Well, Red Bull succeeded because it didn't just sell a drink, it sold a belief system. The goal was bold: invent energy drinks as a category. The category was genius. Tie the drink to adrenaline and lifestyle. The execution, relentless. Passion, habits, discipline. Red Bull didn't just give people wings, it gave them a culture. So what do you think? Is Red Bull's success more about the drink itself or about the brand and lifestyle they built around it? Let me know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. If you've got goals, you want inspiration, and you're curious about what makes the difference between success and failure, hit that subscribe button. That way, you won't miss the next GSE analysis or Upside Scoop interview. Each one could give you a lesson that helps you with your own journey. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.